Levi never imagined his mother would be the one to change everything. He was just a normal 10-year-old boy, loud, energetic, obsessed with dinosaurs and video games. He loved the thrill of basketball, the rush of riding his bike through the neighborhood, the comfort of being exactly who he was supposed to be. But life had other plans, and so did his mother. Reading was never his thing. English class was a battlefield he couldn't win. Spelling was a mystery, grammar was a nightmare, and the only books he ever touched were comic books and joke books. His teacher finally lost patience. "Read a book or flunk," she said. That's when Miss Verso, the librarian, stepped in with a smile that held secrets. She handed him a copy of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. "A classic," she said, her voice soft and mysterious. "Perfect for someone your age." Levi scoffed. "That's for girls." Miss Verso just smiled knowingly. "Alice wore a yellow dress, you know. Not blue. The Disney film got it wrong." He didn't care. He refused to read it. But Miss Verso had her ways. "I won't sign your permission slip unless you take this home." Defeated, Levi grabbed the book and left. That night, the book began to move on its own. It followed him through the house like a shadow. A deck of cards appeared on his bedroom floor, arranged like soldiers ready for battle. His neighbor's cat smiled at him, a wide, eerie grin that made his skin crawl. His soda turned to bitter tea. A white rabbit with a pocket watch vanished under the deck. Strange omens were everywhere, but Levi pretended not to notice. The book was patient. It had been waiting for the right moment. And on the 13th day, it finally claimed him. Levi sat on the couch, ready to relax, when his voice changed. "I suppose I'll enjoy a light repast as I reflect on matters," he said, but the words weren't his. They were elegant, refined, utterly feminine. He gasped, clamping his hands over his mouth, but the damage was done. His voice was no longer his own. It was soft, melodic, dripping with a seductive charm he never knew he possessed. Then came the shoes. His beloved sneakers vanished, replaced by glossy black Mary Janes with delicate golden buckles. They fit him perfectly, as if they had been made for his feet, made to make him walk differently, move differently, feel differently. He tried to run, but his steps clicked across the floor like a teasing dance, each sound a reminder of what he was becoming. His socks began to climb. They slithered up his legs like silken snakes, transforming into sheer white tights that hugged every curve of his skin. The sensation was electric, soft, smooth, impossibly intimate. He could feel the fabric caress his thighs, his calves, the sensitive skin behind his knees. His body trembled, a shiver running through him as the tights settled into place. His shirt began to change. The rough cotton softened, turning a warm golden yellow. The fabric felt like liquid silk against his chest. The sleeves puffed out, becoming delicate domes that brushed against his arms like whispered promises. His shorts fused with the shirt, transforming into a beautiful, flowing dress that swirled around his thighs. He was trapped in a gown of golden silk, and it felt both foreign and strangely intoxicating. Beneath the dress, layers of petticoats and bloomers appeared, soft, frilly, and impossibly sensual. They cinched at his waist, cradled his hips, and hugged his thighs like a lover's embrace. He reached down, trembling, and touched the lace. The fabric was delicate, almost alive, seeming to respond to his fingers. A blush crept across his cheeks. He had never felt anything like this. Then his face began to shift. His jaw softened into a delicate heart shape. His cheeks perked up, soft and supple. His nose turned petite and elegant. His eyes grew wider, more innocent, and turned a striking shade of blue, like a clear summer sky. Blonde hair cascaded down his shoulders like a waterfall of liquid gold, catching the light with every subtle movement. When he looked in the mirror, the boy was gone. A girl stared back, beautiful, fragile, breathtaking. He touched his new face, his fingers tracing the soft curve of his cheek. His skin was smooth, flawless, almost glowing. A wave of heat washed over him, a strange and unfamiliar warmth spreading through his chest. He tried to look away, but his reflection held him captive. She was beautiful, And she was him. "Mama," he whispered, his voice soft and trembling. I'm a girl now." When his mother came home, she didn't see a boy in a dress. She just saw her daughter. "If you're going to play in your good dress, you're going to ruin it," she said, not with anger, but with gentle exasperation. She handed him a crisp white pinafore, lace-trimmed and delicate. He tried to protest, but his body moved on its own. He curtsied. He smoothed his skirt. He sat with his ankles crossed and his hands folded in his lap, the picture of perfect femininity. "You look lovely, sweetheart," his mother said, adjusting the ribbons in his hair. Her fingers brushed against his neck, sending a shiver down his spine. He blushed, looking away. He didn't understand why her touch made his heart race, why the soft brush of her fingers against his skin made him feel so vulnerable, so exposed. "Mom," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "Why is this happening to me?" She just smiled, her eyes soft and knowing. "Because you were always meant to be beautiful, my darling. You just didn't know it yet." Later, in his bedroom, he sat in front of the mirror, studying his new reflection. The girl in the mirror stared back at him, her eyes wide and innocent, her lips soft and pink, her golden hair falling in gentle waves around her shoulders. He reached up and touched his own lips, imagining what it would feel like to be kissed, to be touched, to be held. A shiver ran through him. He had never felt so confused, so afraid, and so alive. The book sat on his nightstand, waiting. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. He opened it, his fingers trembling against the worn pages. Alice had escaped. Alice had found her way home. Maybe he could too. But as he read, he realized that Alice's journey was just beginning, and so was his. Chapter 2. The First Night. That night Alice lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The moonlight streamed through the window, casting silver shadows across her new bedroom. The rose wallpaper seemed to glow in the dim light. The porcelain dolls on the shelf watched her with painted eyes. She pulled the embroidered quilt up to her chin, feeling the soft fabric against her skin. She couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw her reflection. The girl with golden hair, the girl with blue eyes, the girl who looked back at her with longing and fear. She touched her face again, tracing the delicate curve of her jaw. It was smooth, soft, nothing like the rough, boyish features she remembered. What was happening to her? Was this magic? A curse? Some kind of strange dream? She pinched her arm, hard, and winced at the pain. No, this was real. This was her life now. She was a girl. A soft knock on the door made her heart race. "Alice," her mother's voice whispered through the wood. "Are you awake?" Alice hesitated. The name sounded strange on her mother's lips, yet somehow natural. "Yes, Mama." The door creaked open, and her mother slipped inside. She was wearing a silk nightgown, her hair loose around her shoulders. She looked beautiful in the moonlight, soft, warm, loving. She sat on the edge of Alice's bed and took her hand. "Are you scared, sweetheart?" she asked. Alice nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "I don't understand what's happening to me." Her mother smiled gently, brushing a strand of golden hair from Alice's face. "You were always meant to be a girl," she said softly. "I knew it the day you were born. I saw it in your eyes. You had the soul of a girl trapped in a boy's body. I was just waiting for the right moment to help you become who you were always meant to be." Alice's heart pounded. But how? The book, the shoes, the dress. "It was the library," her mother said. "Miss Verso has been a friend of our family for years. She has certain gifts. When she saw you, she knew what you needed. She gave you Alice's Adventures in Wonderland because it's a story about transformation, about becoming someone new, someone brave, someone beautiful." Alice's mind raced. "So, this was planned? You knew this would happen?" Her mother nodded. "I wanted to tell you, but I knew you wouldn't understand. Boys are stubborn, you know. They fight against their true selves. I had to wait until you were ready. And now." She cupped Alice's cheek, her thumb stroking the soft skin. "Now you're perfect, my beautiful, sweet daughter." Tears streamed down Alice's cheeks. Part of her was angry, furious that her mother had conspired with the librarian to change her without consent. But another part of her, a deeper, more secret part, felt a strange sense of relief. Like she had been carrying a weight she didn't know existed, and it had finally been lifted. "Am I going to stay like this forever?" she whispered. "If you want to," her mother said. "Or you can go back. The choice is yours. But I hope you'll stay. I've always wanted a daughter." Alice looked at her mother's loving face and felt something inside her shift. The fear was still there, but it was slowly being replaced by something else: curiosity, wonder, and a tiny spark of hope. She could feel it, deep in her chest, a tingling sensation spreading through her body like warm honey. Her fingers intertwined with her mother's, and she felt the softness of her skin, the gentle pressure of her touch. A warmth spread through her, something she had never felt before, something delicate and strange and beautiful. "I don't know what I want," Alice admitted. "I'm scared." "Fear is natural," her mother said, leaning down to kiss her forehead. "But you're not alone. I'll be with you every step of the way. And you'll see, my darling, there's so much joy waiting for you. You just have to let yourself feel it." Chapter 3: A New World. The next morning, Alice woke to sunlight streaming through her window. The birds were singing, and the world seemed brighter somehow. She sat up in bed, her long blonde hair spilling over her shoulders. She touched it, feeling the silkiness between her fingers. This was real. She was real. Her mother appeared in the doorway, carrying a tray of breakfast. "Good morning, sweetheart," she said with a warm smile. "I brought you something special. I know how much you love it." Alice looked at the tray. There was a delicate china cup of tea, a plate of fresh fruit, and a small pastry shaped like a flower. It was all so beautiful, so feminine. She felt a blush creep across her cheeks as she accepted the tray. "Thank you, Mama." Her mother sat beside her on the bed, watching her with an expression of pure love. "Today is going to be a special day," she said. "I'm going to take you shopping. We'll get you some new clothes, pretty clothes. And maybe we'll get our nails done, too." Alice's heart fluttered. She had seen her mother get her nails done before. The way the nail artist would file and buff and paint, making her mother's hands look so elegant and beautiful. She had always secretly admired it, even though she would never admit it. "Okay," she whispered. Her mother clapped her hands in delight. "Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Wait until everyone sees you, Alice. You're going to be the most beautiful girl in town." Alice felt a swirl of emotions. Part of her was still scared. What would people think of her? What would her friends say? But another part of her, the part that had been hidden away for so long, felt a flicker of excitement. After breakfast, her mother helped her get ready. She chose a light blue sundress with white lace trim and a pair of white sandals with a small heel. She brushed Alice's hair until it shone, then tied it back with a silk ribbon. She applied a light touch of lip gloss and a hint of blush to Alice's cheeks. "You look absolutely perfect," her mother said, stepping back to admire her work. Alice looked in the mirror. The girl staring back was almost unrecognizable. She was beautiful, delicate, feminine. Everything she had never allowed herself to be. A tear trickled down her cheek, and her mother gently wiped it away. "Don't cry, sweetheart. This is a happy day." "I know," Alice said, her voice trembling. I never thought I could look like this." "You were always beautiful," her mother said. "You just couldn't see it. But now you can." Chapter 4: The Shopping Trip. The shopping trip was a revelation. Alice had been to the mall before, but never like this. She was treated like a princess. The saleswomen fussed over her, complimenting her hair and her dress and her adorable smile. She tried on so many clothes, each one more beautiful than the last. Dresses in soft pastels, skirts that swirled when she walked, blouses with lace collars and delicate buttons. Her mother bought her everything. Dozens of dresses, shoes, accessories, and undergarments, lace and silk and satin that felt like a dream against her skin. Alice felt herself blushing every time her mother held up a new piece of lingerie, but her mother just smiled and whispered, "You'll need these too, sweetheart." By the end of the day, Alice was exhausted, but exhilarated. She felt like a completely different person. When she looked in the mirror at home, she saw a girl who was confident, beautiful, and ready to embrace her new life. That night, as she lay in her new silk nightgown, she thought about everything that had happened. She thought about the book, the transformation, her mother's loving guidance. A part of her was still scared, a small, stubborn part that clung to the boy she used to be. But that part was fading, replaced by something warmer, something brighter. She touched her breasts, feeling the soft curves beneath the silk. A shiver ran through her. She didn't fully understand the feelings that were stirring inside her, but they felt natural, exciting, almost intoxicating. She whispered to herself in the darkness, "I'm Alice. I'm a girl. And I think I like it." Chapter 5. Embracing who she is. In the weeks that followed, Alice began to fully embrace her new identity. She attended school in a pretty pink dress and matching hair ribbons. Her teacher smiled warmly and called her by her new name. The other girls welcomed her with open arms, even the ones who had known her as a boy. Her old friends were confused at first, but slowly they came to accept the new Alice. Her mother was overjoyed. They spent every weekend together, shopping, having tea, painting their nails, and simply enjoying each other's company. Alice felt closer to her mother than ever before. It was as if all the walls between them had finally come down. She still had moments of doubt. Sometimes, late at night, she would look in the mirror and wonder who she really was. But those moments were becoming rarer. The more she embraced being Alice, the more right it felt, the more beautiful she felt. One evening, her mother came into her room and sat beside her. "I want to tell you something," she said, her voice soft and serious. Alice turned to her, curious. "What is it, Mama?" "I know this has been a lot for you," her mother began. "But I want you to know that I'm proud of you. You've been so brave. You've embraced your new life with such grace and courage." Alice felt a warmth spread through her chest. "Thank you, Mama. But I don't think I could have done it without you." Her mother pulled her into a tight embrace. "You'll always be my daughter, Alice. No matter what. And I love you more than anything." They sat together in the dim light, holding each other. Alice felt tears in her eyes, but for the first time, they weren't tears of fear. They were tears of love, of acceptance, of joy. "Mom," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "Thank you for helping me become who I was always meant to be." Her mother kissed her forehead. "You're welcome, my darling. I'm so proud of you." Epilogue. A new beginning. Years passed, and Alice grew into a confident, beautiful young woman. She never forgot the day everything changed, the day she went to the library and met Miss Verso, the day the book transformed her, the day her mother helped her become the girl she was always meant to be. She often thought about that transformation. The softness of the tights against her legs, the gentle caress of the dress against her skin, the delicate touch of makeup on her cheeks. The way her mother's hands had guided her, shaped her, loved her into being. The memory made her smile. It made her heart flutter, a gentle and beautiful warmth spreading through her. She realized that the transformation wasn't just about the clothes, the shoes, the makeup. It was about becoming her authentic self. It was about love, her mother's love, her own love, and the love of everyone who accepted her for who she truly was. Miss Verso's library was still open, still full of magic and secrets. Alice visited it often, always with a smile and a thank you to the woman who had given her the greatest gift of all. She never read Alice's adventures in Wonderland again. She didn't need to. She had lived her own Wonderland, and it was more amazing than any story could ever be. And every night, as she lay in bed in her beautiful silk nightgown, with the moonlight streaming through the window, she would whisper to herself, "Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Miss Verso. Thank you for making me who I am."